Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be part 2 in my makeup collection and declutter. If this is the first time you're catching this series, I will have part 1 linked below where I decluttered my base collection. So I decluttered foundation, primer, powder, concealer, and setting sprays, I believe. So check that video out in case you're interested. Today we will be doing my bronzer and highlighter. Next week we will be doing my blush collection. I went into this with the goal of decluttering approximately 20%. I don't want to declutter just to declutter. That's not the point of this series. I set out to declutter because my makeup collection was starting to feel overwhelming in a sense that I was like losing the joy of doing my makeup because there were just too many decisions every day when I was deciding what to do with my makeup. So if you guys are interested in seeing what I have to declutter, stay tuned. First, if you have yet to subscribe to my channel and you like project painting content or just chit-chatting about makeup, I would love if you'd consider subscribing before moving on. And other than that, let's jump into the video. All right, you guys, next up we have my cream slash liquid bronzers. I have 17, and I'll be honest with you, the bronzer category is gonna be very hard for me to declutter because I love my bronzers dearly. So we can just start with these two right up front. So these are so this is my Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood contour wand. I love this. I think it's amazing. I like that it's more of a cool tone, so it's when I want to contour, like, this is what I go for. And then I have this one from Iconic London, which I'll also be keeping. This is the sheer bronzer, which I do really enjoy when I want more of like a sheer bronzer. If I'm going for more of like a natural makeup look, I'll reach for this. It's an easy product to use. It really is sheer, so it's kind of hard to mess up. So it's very foolproof and beginner friendly for like liquid bronzing products. So keeping both of these. This Tower 28 Bronzino West Coast bronzer. Is it West Coast in the shade Bronzino or Bronzino in the shade West Coast? This is something that at the beginning of the summer, I was definitely thinking I was going to declutter, but then I pulled this back out for the summer. Mine's so messy looking. And I actually reached for this quite a bit this summer and really enjoyed it. It still smells normal, so I'm actually going to be keeping this one around for the time being. I actually really enjoy this when I want more, like, something that looks like a true bronzy glow. This has more of a red tone base, so it truly looks kind of like a sunburn bronze sort of. It has that vibe, and I really have been enjoying this. So keeping this. This one from Danessa Myricks, I am ready to declutter. I actually forgot to include this in my ranking, my cream and liquid bronzers, because I had set this aside as something I was thinking I was going to declutter. I actually got quite a bit of use out of this. You can tell it looks pretty dirty, but I just don't love this shade. I have mine in the shade light. It's just incredibly warm toned on me, and I just have obviously a lot of other cream and liquid bronzers to use up. These go quick. They go bad more quickly than others, so I do need to get rid of some of them. So I'm gonna get rid of this. This one from Fenty Beauty is new to me. This is the Cheeks Out bronzer, and I have mine in the shade Butter Biscuit. I have been testing this recently, really enjoy this, definitely keeping this. I'm going to skip over the Jaclyn. I think I'm going to keep this, but I'm going to skip over it because I'm not sure yet. I have this one from NARS. I will definitely be keeping. This is the cream bronzer in the shade Laguna. I really do enjoy this. It is very, very pigmented, but you really, you can build this up. But more than that, you can also really sheer it out as long as you're careful about how much product you put on. The first few times I used this, there was a learning curve, and I was like, okay, I don't need to use that much cream bronzer, and I would sheer it out. I really like this for when I have a deep tan or like in the thick of summer when I am my darkest. This is really great for me. Clearly I've used this quite a bit, and I'll be keeping this. I really like this product. And when I purchased this, it was limited edition, but they have brought this back and they extended the shade range as well. This one from Makeup Revolution is brand new to my collection. I haven't even tried this yet. I got this for a splurge or save video. I'm testing it out as a dupe. This one from Charlotte Tilbury is new, and I love this one. Definitely not going anywhere. This is the Beautiful Skin Sunkissed Glow Bronzer in the shade 2 Medium. Love this so much. This one from Rose Inc. is also new to my collection this year. I have mine in the shade Kawaii? I don't know. This I love. I love the shade. I love the formula. I love how easy it is to blend. This is definitely not going anywhere. I highly recommend this formula. I've really been enjoying the products that I've tried from Rose Inc so far this year. I know I'm not going to be decluttering my Chanel Le Beige Cream Bronzer. I really like this. It was a super luxe product. I actually have used this quite a bit, but doesn't even look like I've used it that much. Very easy product to work with. Love the tone. I have mine in the shade Healthy Glow. I don't know. This is the Soleil bronzer. Keeping. So then, okay, I'm gonna swatch this out on my hand. And I wanna see how this one compares to this one, because I don't feel like I need both. So these are the two swatch. This is the Chanel, this is the ColourPop. I have the ColourPop, or the Soul, sorry, not the ColourPop, the Soul Body Bronzer in the shade Light. There is something just about this undertone that I don't love, and I prefer the Charlotte Tilbury, so I am actually going to declutter this one from Soul Body. It's a great product, great formula. There's just something about the shade that does not work for my skin. I will definitely be keeping this from Huda Beauty. This is the Tantour in the shade Fair. Love this so much. I have a pan in this. I think this is such a great product. Definitely keeping this. This one from Milk Makeup, newer to my collection this year. I was gonna say for sure keeping this, but in order to declutter 20%, I need to declutter 4. And I would actually like, again, I don't want to declutter just to declutter, but I know I'm going to keep this one from Rare Beauty. This is the bronzing stick in the shade Happy Soul. I don't know why I swatched that, but I did. I do kind of want to see how the Jaclyn compares. Yeah, the Jaclyn one. So I have the Jaclyn cream bronzer in the shade Toasty, which is one of the deeper shades, but you can kind of manipulate this shade and really sheer it out. I've used this quite a bit, as you can tell. I want to see how this one compares to the NARS. Okay, so here is NARS, here's Jaclyn Toasty, and then here is Rare Beauty. They all three have different like tones and undertones. Toasty is definitely more similar to the Rare Beauty. I feel like I'll regret if I declutter Toasty, so I'm gonna keep this for right now. Keeping the Rare Beauty. I am going to declutter this one from Persona. I just was not a huge fan of this. This is the bronze multi-stick in the shade Dune. This was an easy formula to work with, but I just didn't love like the tone of this. There's that one swatched right there. Just on my skin, although I feel like this looks super similar to, no, this one's definitely more warm toned than the Chanel. Anyway, I'm going to be decluttering this one from Persona. It just, the undertone of this just did not work for me and my complexion, so I didn't love this one. My Oma Beauty, I don't know why I include this, because I think in my makeup inventory, I count this in like my duos and trios, but I guess I'm including this in this portion. So this has the highlighting stick as well as the contour stick. I also love this product. I think it's such a good one. Again, good for contouring for days that I want to contour. I actually just prefer contouring with a cream or liquid product. Anyway, I'm rambling. So that leaves me with this one from Milk. I like this one, but it's not like a fave. And it is like a really liquidy odd texture. Do I need to keep this? I feel like I don't. Like I just, my hand is an absolute disaster right now. I do kind of like that tone. I can't decide. I swatched the Iconic London. Definitely different tones and textures. I like literally cannot decide. Just because I feel like a part of me wants to keep it, but then I feel like I'm not going to reach for it at all. I feel like I should just declutter this because I haven't used it that much, so I could pass it along to someone else who has less bronzers and would get more use out of it. I am going to declutter this one. I'm going to declutter this one from Milk. I like this product. I think it's a good product. I just have others that I prefer and want to actually be able to get use out of the products in my collection, and the larger my collection, the less use I can get out of everything. So I'm going to declutter this one from Milk. This is the Bionic Bronzer. I can't remember what shade I have. I think I have the lightest or possibly the second lightest shade. Okay, so that means out of everything, I will be decluttering these 4 and then I will be keeping 13. If I thought that cream and liquid bronzer was gonna be hard, this is gonna be even harder. These are my powder bronzers. These are my babies. I love bronzers so much. I have 18 powder bronzers currently in my collection, and if I want to declutter 20%, I need to get rid of 4. I don't know that I'm gonna be able to make that happen, but we're gonna try and get close. We're gonna try. Technically 18 powder bronzers plus 17 cream and Technically, 18 powder bronzers plus 17 cream and liquid bronzers equals 35 bronzers total. So if I get rid of 7, meaning if I can get rid of 3 powder bronzers, I'll still have gotten rid of 20% of my bronzer collection. I don't know if I can do it. Let's get moving and grooving. First up, Glowish by Huda Beauty. Love this bronzer. It's definitely a glowier bronzer. It has like a sheen to it. I think it's beautiful. This is definitely like, you either like this or you don't. I like it. I'm keeping it. Nabla bronzer. Such a good bronzer. I have mine in this shade. So this is the Skin Bronzing. I have mine in the shade Ambra. One of my favorite bronzers. It is a baked gelée formula, so it just has, again, kind of like a beautiful sheen. It's not totally matte on the skin, and it offers like, it looks like your skin is just like bronzy and glowy, or glowing. I love it so much. This one from e.l.f. I think is such a good option for the drugstore. This is the primer infused bronzer. Clearly I have pan in it. Keeping that. My NARS Laguna bronzer. This is like the one that you have to build up. It's not like the original Laguna. I always forget what this is called now. I feel like this is constantly on the chopping block, but when it comes down to it, I actually really love this bronzer and I can't part with it. So I'll be keeping this as well. My Kevyn Aucoin sculpting powder, I don't love. I don't really love to contour, especially with powder, but I have a huge pan on this and I've worked on this so hard that I can't get myself to declutter it. I need to like actually finish this off. Keeping that. My Victoria Beckham Bronzing Brick. Love this so much. So luxurious. Great bronzer duo. Will definitely not be getting rid of this. I don't think I could ever get rid of this even if I didn't like the product inside. I'd probably just like depot this and keep this very luxurious package for something else. I included my Patrick Todd duo, even though this is like a cream and powder duo. I just included it with my powders. I really like this, especially when I am a little bit lighter. It's a great product to work with, really good formula. Will not be decluttering this either. We're making great progress, right guys? Fenty Beauty Into Sun. Love this so much, have a pan on it. We'll also be keeping this. This one I know I can declutter. I was like, let's find something we can declutter. This is from RMS Beauty. My sister gifted this to me. It was way too deep for her very, very pale skin, but this is also too deep for me. I just can't get this to work for me, even trying to shear this out. So I'm gonna declutter this. My Dior. Love this so much. Love the packaging on this. I have mine in the shade 4, which is a little bit deeper, but I do like that this kind of runs a little bit cool, so I can use this to sculpt and contour if I want as well. Keeping that. Tom Ford bronzer, we know I really enjoy. Won't be decluttering this, plus I paid such a pretty penny for this one. Wouldn't declutter this. Love the packaging on this as well. I have mine in the shade 2 Terra. My Ilia bronzer, I'm currently working on panning as well. I like this bronzer quite a bit. Not decluttering. Marc Jacobs Tantastic. Have a pan in this. Really great bronzer. Will take me forever to get through, but it still performs beautifully. Won't declutter this. We all know these Charlotte Tilbury airbrush bronzer. I have mine in the shade 2. A favorite bronzer of mine. Also not decluttering. Also not decluttering my Vive Duo. Love this one so much as well. Great quality. Love the packaging. That brings me to my Cover FX duo, Milani and Vesca. Vesca I don't think I will declutter. I really like this one. I like to have other products from indie brands other than just eyeshadow palettes, so I do really enjoy having this in my collection. I have the shade Kiss by Santorini. It's super smooth, really buttery soft, very finely milled, and I really enjoy this one. We'll be keeping. The Cover FX bronzing bronzing duo was a favorite in my collection at one point. In fact, my daughter ruined my original one. She like scratched it up when she was like 2 years old, and I immediately went out and repurchased this because I loved this product so much. But this is super pigmented. I really can only get away with wearing it in the summertime, and I barely reach for it this summer. This is a side I never get use out of, and I think I am ready to part with this. It's very old in my collection. It's not a favorite anymore. I have so many other bronzers that I love and want to get use out of, so I am going to declutter this. And then this one from Milani, I used to really like, but the last few times I've reached into this bronzer, I just haven't been a fan of the way that the like undertone pulls on me. I don't know what it is about this bronzer. A part of me wanted to keep this around because it's just such a popular one, but I have over 30 other bronzers in my collection. I'm sure I'll purchase more bronzers because I love bronzer. And so do I really want to keep this around and use this when it's like holding me back from using a bronzer in like a shade that I just prefer more on me? No. My whole purpose of doing this declutter was because I was starting to feel overwhelmed by my makeup collection. And this I feel like is one of those products that just kind of like makes me feel overwhelmed because I feel like I'm using this because I should be, but I have so many other bronzers that I love and want to be rotating through. So I am going to declutter this one from Milani, meaning that we actually are decluttering 3 powder bronzers, meaning we decluttered 7 total bronzers. But I will be keeping these these 15 other powder bronzers. Okay, it's the next day. Cracking open an Alani. Need some caffeine. It's early in the morning and I woke up to declutter my highlighter collection. I have included any face palette in my collection that has just highlighters. I have included in this category. This is obviously all of my powder highlighters. There are 36 products to get through, and then on top of that I have another 16 liquid highlights to go through, so in total I have approximately 52 highlighting products, and I would love to get rid of, again, like around 20%. I don't want to declutter just to declutter, but that would mean between all of my highlights I need to get rid of approximately 10 or 11 products. I don't think there's much I want to get rid of out of my liquid highlight collection / cream, so that means we need to do most of the decluttering within this. I will say I haven't been as into like a flashy highlight anymore, so I want to bear that in mind. Right off the bat, we have this highlighting palette from Lancome. This was their holiday palette a few years ago. I have a couple pans in this. I love this palette. This won't be going anywhere. My ABH Glow Kit in Sun Dipped. I don't think I can get myself to declutter. This has been in a Shop My Stash rotation, and I have used each of the shades at least one time. This is not something I feel inclined to reach for, but I feel like if I rolled it into like an actual project, I would get use out of this and really like it. This is my favorite palette, my favorite face palette out of the bunch from ABH. And I just feel like this is like a nostalgic item too for me. So I am going to keep the Sun Dipped palette. And then my Laura Geller Baked Gelato Swirl is going in a project right now. This is another very old palette to my collection, but I will be keeping this. Okay, right here we have the Makeup Forever Pro Fusion highlighter. This is a very old one in my collection. This is in, I believe, the shade 1. It's a really, really beautiful pink highlighter. I am not letting this go. I love this so much. This was one of the first, I think this may have been like the first pink highlighter I got. I remember Jaclyn Hill recommended this ages ago when I was first getting into makeup and YouTube, and this is another one that kind of has like a nostalgic place in my heart, but still performs just fine. I love this one. This one from Dior is another pink highlighter. This is in the shade 2. It's their Dior Air Nude. This is another love of mine. It's a very old product again, but I love this one so much. I actually just rolled this into a project, keeping that. I'm going to keep both from Fenty Beauty. I have the Kilowatt Highlight in Lightning Dust and Fire Crystal, as well as Girl Next Door and Chic Freak. You guys know, if you are an OG subscriber, I love my Bobbi Brown Pink Glow Highlight, keeping that. I also really love this one from Vesca. This is their highlighter, Stargaze highlight, I think, in the shade Moonlight. Love this one. Clearly not doing a great job so far. This Laura Mercier one is new to my collection. I will be keeping this. I've absolutely loved this the few times I've used this so far. This is the Rose Glow highlighter. So pretty. Okay, let's see. This one from Milk Makeup. Okay, this is in the shade Blitzed. I thought I was gonna love this because it is like a pink highlight, but it actually is more of like a rose gold. I feel like I'm not like standing in a good place for lighting. Okay, I feel like I've been causing a shadow with my lighting this entire time. I'm clearly filming at my kitchen table. You can see my bar stools over there. Hopefully this is a little bit better, but this is the Milk Makeup highlighter swatched. It's in the shade Blitzed. I loved the, what do they call this? The Flex highlighter. I purchased it in, here, I'll grab it, in the shade Lit first, and I purchased another shade as well, which I thought, like, I accidentally bought the wrong shade. I meant to buy Blitzed for my second shade, and I bought something else that was like super yellow. So here's Lit, here is Blitzed. Lit is like a super smooth formula, so is Blitzed, but Blitzed has this like actual glitter running throughout. Now it's a very smooth glitter. It's not like chunky, and it's really small particles, but it's also a little bit deeper and just not something that's flattering on my skin. So I'm gonna keep Lit because I love this formula, love this highlight. This is what Lit looks like. Clearly mine is very well loved, but I am gonna declutter Blitzed just because I don't find myself ever reaching for it because of that glitter, and it's just a little deep on me. Yay, super exciting. We have one declutter. My highlighter from Dior, the other one I have from Dior, again, this is the nude whatever. This is the champagne shade. I love this one as well. I will be keeping this. This one from M Cosmetics, I'm a little unsure of. It is more intense than I typically, although then I swatch it, I'm like, oh, it doesn't look as intense swatched. It is a really beautiful like champagne gold sort of shade, and it's, I don't have much from M Cosmetics, so I would like to keep it for that reason. It's a baked formula. I just don't reach for it that often, but I'm gonna keep it for right now. It's more intense on the cheeks, which hasn't been my preference, but I don't feel like I'm ready to part ways with that yet. This one from Natasha Denona I will be keeping. This is a favorite in my collection. Clearly I have a huge pan on it. I'm also keeping Mary Lou, another OG. I feel like a lot of my highlighters are like OGs. Like I've had them for a long time. I did go on a highlighter low buy this year, and I've barely purchased any, so that's good. Okay, these two. This one from Dose of Colors. I have already decluttered one in the past from this line. This is a very intense line. The one I have left is in the shade Bathe, which is this really beautiful pink shade, but it is definitely super intense. But I do really like this product, and I love pink highlighters. I'm gonna keep this. I'm gonna keep this one. I can't get rid of it yet. This one from Jaclyn Cosmetics. This was from the holiday, or this was from the summer release last year. This is in the shade Star Power. It is a really nice texture. It's kind of like, I don't want to say putty to the touch, but it kind of is, but super, super intense. This might actually be a putty highlighter. It is. And it does feel like putty to the touch. Can you see how intense that is? It's really beautiful, but it's way too deep for my skin. It's like this really beautiful golden shade, and I am just not the type of person who is gonna try and make this work in other ways. Like there's just, someone else can get great use out of this, that it's gonna look beautiful on their skin. They like a more intense highlight. For me, it just is too intense and not a great tone for my cheeks. So I'm going to declutter this one from Jaclyn Cosmetics. Okay, you guys know my Nabla highlights are not going anywhere. I'm obsessed with these. I have the shade Ozone as well as Privilege. I love Nabla Cosmetics. I love their baked products. I love their highlights, their blushes, their bronzers. Those are staying. All right, let's do this. Mario, or Makeup by Mario. This is in the shade Pearl. I really like this one. Let me swatch this though. It's been a little bit since I've worn that. definitely more of like a really light white. It's very subtle on the cheeks, and it just really gives this like glow rather than like a super beaming intensity to the cheeks. It's like a healthy glow. It's beautiful. I'm gonna keep this one from Makeup by Mario, but this one from Buxom, I was so excited when this released because I love the Buxom Seychelles blush. This is in the shade, it's the Wanderlust Glow Highlighter in the shade White Russian. I just don't like this. The formula feels dry. It just like it's not flattering on the cheeks, and I do not feel excited about this one, so I'm going to declutter this. My one loose powder highlight in my collection from Artist Couture, this is in the shade Summer Haze. I'm obsessed with this highlight. I didn't reach for this summer though, and I'm disappointed in myself. I still have quite a bit of this left. Doesn't mean that I can't reach for it because it's not summer, it's just Summer Haze. It looks so beautiful in the summer, but I need to pull this out in my next Shop My Stash rotation because I love this highlight. Definitely keeping. These two I will also be keeping. I have the Ray Rider highlight from Kaleidos, which is not like my absolute favorite highlight of all time, but I love Kaleidos, and it's still really beautiful. This one is one of their more wearable shades. Although the packaging is really bulky, I think it's really cute, so I'm gonna keep that. And then I'll also be keeping this one from Ofra in collaboration with Steph Toms in the shade Milk and Cookies. This is such a beautiful highlight. I love this one, especially when I do want a more blinding highlight. This is a great one to reach into. I like this shade on its own, this shade on its own, and also mix. Incredible. Keeping this. These two right here, my Pixie by Petra highlighter, I will definitely be keeping. I just recently hit pan on this. Again, if I'm looking for a more intense highlight, this is a great option. It's so smooth on the cheeks, so it does offer like a blinding glow, but it doesn't look like powder or highlight on your cheeks, if that makes sense, just because it is such a smooth formula. So I'll be keeping this face palette from Dior. It is really beautiful, but the only shade that I really like out of this one is the pink highlight. And it's just like not my ideal pink highlight. Like, it's just not as pretty as I wanted it to be. I think this is a pretty palette that someone else could get a lot of use out of, but it's just not my jam when it comes to highlighters. I do kind of want to swatch this just to see. And like, okay, even that, like thinking about possibly using that shade as a blush, it's just way too sparkly and honestly glittery. There's definitely glitter particles running throughout. Again, very small, not chunky, but this just isn't a love of mine, so I'm going to be decluttering this one from Dior. I feel like this is getting harder because I'm looking at the rest of these, and with the exception of ABH Amrezy, which I'm definitely keeping, another favorite highlight in my collection, so beautiful. I feel like I could potentially see myself possibly decluttering the rest of these. I will say I am going to keep Persona. So this one is not like the absolute best tone on me. So it's more of like a golden highlight, a golden champagne, as opposed to just like a straight champagne, which just isn't always like the most flattering on my skin. It's also a very intense highlight. I used to be obsessed with this highlight. I still reach for it. I don't love it like I once did, but I am still going to keep this because I do really like Persona, and I still think this is pretty. And then this one from NARS, this is the highlighter in the shade Fort de France. I feel like I can always, this is like one of those products in my collection that's consistently on the chopping block for me, but then I'll swatch it or like put it in a Shop My Stash and fall in love with it again instantly. Yeah, definitely keeping. I forget how much I like this formula. This is another like very, very smooth formula. Definitely more subtle, which is actually more my vibe. I need to pull this into a Shop My Stash. I feel like I would absolutely love this product right now. So I just need to get more use out of it. Gonna keep this. I don't know why I said I could potentially see myself decluttering this product, because I definitely won't. This is my Becca Rose Quartz highlighter. Love this so much. Probably my favorite highlighter of all time. Keeping that. So then I have these two from Becca. This is just a little mini in the shade Opal. This is just not my favorite, and I cannot get myself to use this, so I am going to just declutter this. This, I believe, was like my first or second highlight of all time. This holds such a nostalgic, like holds such nostalgic value in my mind. I remember specifically like where I bought this, the day I bought this, etc. But this is just not the type of highlight I'm reaching for anymore. I don't know if you can see that. I purchased this when holographic highlighters were clearly like all the rage. But then I do feel like there's times where I actually do really like this. Maybe I need to do like a chopping block and use this and decide. It is getting older though. I'm gonna keep this for right now. And then if I don't use this anymore at all, at the end of the year, I need to just declutter this. That's what we're gonna do. Okay, so then up here, I have my ABH Nicole Guerrero face palette. Used to love this one. I love Nicole Guerrero, but I actually think I'm gonna declutter this. This is older in my collection and I just truly never reach for this. I'd rather keep my ABH Sun Dip Glow Kit over this just because I get more use out of those highlighters over these. So I am ready to part ways with this. And then this one from Odin's Eye, this is their Soul Mane Highlighting Palette. This one, I don't know. Let's see. Okay, I don't know how well you'll be able to see. This shade is really beautiful, but not for a highlight, more for like an eyeshadow. This is, again, more like an eyeshadow. Like, I can't see myself using this on the cheeks, and I really haven't reached for this much at all. I feel like I should just declutter this. Like, I feel like I'm not going to get use out of it, and it's just going to continue to sit and collect dust in my collection, and there's no reason for that. I'd rather give it to someone who would actually get use out of this. I love Odin's Eye, I really do. I just typically prefer their not face palettes, their actual palettes. I do like their blushes as well, but I am ready to, I'm going to say goodbye to this. I'm just not reaching for it. It doesn't make sense to keep it in my collection. I think it's beautiful packaging. Someone else can get some great use out of this, but that person just won't be me. And then this one from ABH, this is the Aurora Glow Kit. There is something like special about this glow kit. I actually really forgot how much I love this for these two highlights specifically. I haven't reached for this in a bit, but I really do love those on the cheeks. I'm gonna keep the Aurora one. This one holds a special place in my heart too. I remember I was like not a fan, like thought who would ever use this, but then I purchased this and actually did use this quite a bit. And I used this like 1 or 2 years ago too. I was reaching for this all the time. So I just want to swatch this. I don't think I'm ready to part ways with this yet. I'm going to keep the Aurora Glow Kit. Okay, so that means out of my powder highlight collection, we will be decluttering 7 and keeping 45. My only one that I feel like I could potentially go back on and declutter is my Becca Prismatic Amethyst highlight, but I don't feel like it's swatched like, I just feel like it's one of those. So a little bit ago, I read an article about like purple highlights brightening your cheekbones, and I feel like do I have anything similar? Okay, I actually am going to declutter the Becca Prismatic Amethyst. I don't have anything all that similar in my collection, but just thinking it through, I'm like, anytime that I would reach for this, I feel like I would rather be reaching for just a straight up pink highlight. So I'm ready. There's a lot of nostalgic value to this, but I don't want to just keep something in my collection, especially like I love the saucer packaging. It's super cute, but it also does take up space. I don't want to keep this in my collection just for nostalgic purposes. Like, it's at the end of the day, it's makeup. And like, do I really want to keep a nostalgic makeup item? Maybe some, but not this. Like, I'm ready to declutter this. I'm rambling. I just need to say I'm decluttering that. So we're decluttering 8, keeping 44 out of my powder collection. Okay, here is my liquid/cream highlight collection. I have 16 here, and I like don't feel like I'm gonna get rid of really much of anything. So up first, I have the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Beauty Light Wand in, I think, Pillow Talk, the highlighter, and then I have the Flower Beauty Spotlight Liquid Highlight. I will be keeping both of these. I love both of these formulas. Most recently, I just picked up this one from Burt's Bees. Kelly Gooch has been raving about this, and I finally picked it up to try it. It is the Luminizer in the shade Starlight. We'll be keeping this one from Illamasqua. I'm currently working on in a project pan, and I should have this done in the next like 2 months max. So I'll be keeping this, but that should be an empty. This one from Melt. This is the one that I feel confident decluttering. This is the Sex Foil. I have mine in the shade Peaches and Cream. I was just not a fan of this. And there are some liquid highlights that I like don't like for my face that I could get use out of on my body, but this is just one that I don't like how this looks at all. I'm going to declutter this. My RMS face palette clearly is a love of mine. I will be finishing this off. I don't think I'll empty this by the end of the year, but I'm keeping this because I know I can use all these products, and that can be a full face palette empty, even if it's a mini. This one from Flower Beauty, the Day Glow Highlighting Glaze. I wasn't thinking I was going to declutter this, but now I'm like, no, I'm definitely keeping that. Definitely keeping that. I don't know what I was thinking there for a brief moment. This is in the shade Day Glow. This is beautiful. This one from Rose Inc. in the shade Opalescence is newer to my collection, but I have really been enjoying this, so I will be keeping that. These two from ColourPop are technically considered cream products. They're the Super Shock Shadows, so that's why I'm including them here. I have Flexitarian and Lunch Money. Do I need both? Flexitarian is so intense. I don't like it on the cheeks, but I have been using it on like my shoulders and stuff, which I've actually really been liking. I'm like not paying attention. Hopefully I've been holding things in the actual frame. Lunch Money is definitely less intense, and I like Lunch Money on the face. Yeah, I feel like I want to keep both for the time being. At one point I feel like I decluttered Flexitarian but then pulled it back out. That's quite a possibility. I'm gonna keep both for right now. And then my Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Wand Contour, whatever this is. I'm like, I get all the names jumbled together. I will be keeping this. This is going in a project. I wanted to finish this year. I've used this so much, but I don't think I'm going to actually finish that. This one from Lisa Eldridge. This is the Elevated Glow. I absolutely love this product. I think this is so good. It just gives such a subtle yet beautiful, healthy glow to the skin. I think it's so pretty, so keeping that. This one from Merit, this is their highlighting stick in the shade Kava. I didn't think I was actually going to like this, but I think this is such a nice product. It gives just like a glaze to the skin. It's pretty subtle, but it's so beautiful and reflective. On no makeup days or days that I'm going with like super minimal makeup, I love to just pop this on the cheeks. This would also be a great like highlighter for working out, like if you just want to make your cheeks glow before you go work out, so it already looks like you sweating. That's a great product for that. We all know that my Westman Atelier highlighting stick, oops, it was upside down, in the shade Lit Up is going absolutely nowhere. I don't think this formula will be for everybody, but I personally love this so much. Again, kind of just gives like a wet glaze to the skin. It's definitely a stickier formula, which is why I say it's not for everyone, but I still personally think it's beautiful, so I'll be keeping that. And then I have the Jaclyn Liquid Highlight in the shade, well, I'm not sure. I don't like this on the face, but I do like this on the body, but I do want to see how similar this and the Iconic London Original Illuminator is. Okay, so we have Iconic London and then the Jaclyn. Okay, due to the lighting, I can't even really tell. They look very similar where I'm at, but I'm gonna go stand by my window for a moment and look. Okay, these two products are very similar, but I'm gonna keep both of them just because I do like to use both of these as a body highlight, even more so than a face highlight. I think they're really beautiful, and sometimes I like truly just like to make like my shoulders and like chest area glow. So I am gonna keep both of these, meaning that the only product out of my highlights, my liquid / cream highlights that I'll be decluttering is this one from Melt. So decluttering 1, keeping 15, meaning in total throughout all of my highlighting products, I decluttered 9, which I'm actually pretty happy with. It's not quite 20% of my highlighter collection, but it's still a good amount, and I feel so much better about my highlight collection after getting rid of some of these products. Alright guys, that is going to wrap it up for part 2 in my makeup collection declutter series. Leave me comments down below. Let's chat about what I decluttered or what I kept. Was there anything else you felt like I should have decluttered? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to come back next Thursday for my blush collection declutter. At the end of this 5-part series, I'll wrap everything up where I talk about how many total products I decluttered throughout the course of this declutter. But that is going to wrap it up for today's video. Thank you so much for sticking around to watch and for supporting my channel as you guys always do. I love you guys so much, and I'll catch you in my next video. Bye.